Introduction to the dark arts. Now we're moving into what I call the dark arts, and my frame of reference for this is manipulation of supernatural energies or dark forces to manipulate or disturb the energy and physical bodies of the person, place, or thing that receives it. Its intention is often to control, manipulate, punish, or to create chaos to the receiver or the receivers, and the process often involves ritualistic techniques, ceremonies, psychic powers, and mind control. When we talk about the dark arts, we move into a different type of negative energy to psychic attack and psychic knives and arrows, because the dark arts are not just loose thoughts blended with intense emotions and less conscious. Using the dark arts is a conscious process and takes focused intentions mixed with some kind of conscious ritual or process in order to draw or evoke the very dark energy used for the dark arts. So when it comes to the dark arts, it's really important to see that there is a difference between these energies that we're about to talk about compared to things like psychic attack and psychic arrows and psychic knives, because the ones that we talked about before the dark arts, those are the ones that are much more easier to do. It's much easier to curse somebody in your head than it is to actually create black magic on somebody. So the energies that we've spoken about before the dark arts, they are more unconscious. They can be done consciously as well, but they can be done very unconsciously and doesn't involve a lot of intense manipulation or drawing on the dark energies to create it. But when we go into the dark arts, we're now talking about someone consciously intending to create harm for somebody and consciously tapping into the darkest forms of energy in order to create this for somebody or something. So we're talking about a very conscious and deliberate form of taking the darkest of energies and using that to actually create harm or disrupt somebody in some way. Most divine beings will never touch or play with this energy because it needs the conscious intention to work with the darkness, but a divine being who has been living in the grey zone we spoke about earlier in the training could decide to use this process if given the right triggers to turn to the darkness. Remember, the reason we are identifying the difference between them all is because you can only perceive what you can conceive. So you can only become aware or pick up on something if you have the awareness of it. This is why just requesting for all negative energy to be removed would not work, and many things would be left behind. If you don't know about them, then your ability to pick them up is extremely limited. The clearer the frame of reference you have and the deeper your understanding of that framework, the more ability you have to pick it up and the more powerful your clearings will be. So this is the reason why I have broken them all up individually and pulled them all apart in detail. So you now have the ability to articulate finer details of the darker spectrum of light and how it operates. And this giving you a powerful ability to navigate, interface, or clear this energy. Although each category of dark arts is different, the symptoms can often be the same, but they can vary in strength depending on which one's used and the strength of the person casting the dark arts. So the energies that we're about to go into with the dark arts, a lot of them can hold the same symptoms. So sometimes you'll find there's certain symptoms that quite a few dark arts share in common, and that's just because this energy works, quite similar depending on the person using it. So the darker the person using the dark arts, the more severe the symptom will be in the person receiving it. But in the same regard, the clearer the person that it's been sent to. So if the person who's been sent the dark arts, if that person has a really strong energy body, has quite a coherent brain and energy body, then their energy body will have a lot more of defenses against this energy. But if the person hasn't been doing, the inner work and creating more harmonics within the energy field, then this type of energy can create a lot of chaos in someone's energy body, and it can be quite intense. So depending on the person receiving the energy, how strong and clear the energy body is, and also depending on the person who's sending the dark arts, how invested they are in the dark energies, will depend on how severe the symptoms are that play out for the person. Some common symptoms of the dark arts energies are change in behaviour for no reason, highly reactive to situations and people for no reason, loss of memory, brain fog, lack of clarity, increased anxiousness, body pain, anxiety attacks, sudden fatigue for no reason, hot and cold flushes, hearing demonic voices, nightmares, oversensitivity or numbness, increased accidents, feeling someone is watching you, loss of self-confidence or loss of self-identity, sudden health issues or illness, sudden depression that could also bring suicidal thoughts, negative obsessive thoughts, feelings or cravings, ongoing bad luck or unjust treatment from others all of a sudden, attracting strange or angry people or situations, sudden or irrational issues with money or relationships, and life can also fall apart. So these are just some of the ways it can play out. Just like any negative energy, the symptoms can range from mild to extreme. We are now going to look at different types of dark arts that I've experienced with. I'm sure there's many others that I haven't been exposed to yet, but you're going to have a blueprint that's going to help you navigate no matter what you come across. So basically it depends on where you are in the world. So I know that in certain areas of the world there's a lot more dark arts being played out than in somewhere like Australia. So people who are doing work for clients in other areas, or you may live in different areas where the dark arts is a lot more practiced, and you may come across a lot more than what I have in this training. But that's still going to give you a huge framework to work from, because if you know that you're picking up on something that you haven't got a blueprint for yet, you at least know that it's not these, and then you can start to navigate and work out what you're actually dealing with. And that will be something that you're here to work with if that's what you're exposed to. So I'm definitely not saying that what we're about to go into are the only dark arts, because that's completely not true. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot that I've never been exposed to. But over the last 10 years of working with people from all around the world, these are the ones that I found most common. If you come across something that you actually have no frame of reference about, don't be worried about that, because your frame of reference is massive. You have got an extensive blueprint to be able to work in the records. And because you have such an extensive blueprint with such a strong frame of reference, the Akashic Records will really respect that, and you will find that even if you come across some negative energy that you don't have a frame of reference for, because you've got such a massive frame of reference, they will easily be able to match an energy that you don't have a frame of reference for with something similar or close to it, and you'll still be able to remove it. So don't ever worry about coming across something that we don't know about, or that I haven't been able to put into this training, because you'll find that with this frame of reference there'll be not much that the Akashic Records won't be able to help you remove, even if you don't have a frame of reference for it. Okay, so in saying that, let's get on with the dark arts. And like I said, they're only going to be very short videos. I'm not going into detail about them. We don't need to know the ins and outs. We just need to know a little bit about them to give us a frame of reference in order to pick them up. There is one in particular that I really did not want to put in this training, because I personally didn't really want to talk about it, because I'm like, this is just, it's really disturbingly gross. But I have to put it in, because I know that it's one that some people might experience a lot of, depending on what country they're in, but also because of the dark web that we have all around the world right now. If you're not sure about the dark web, we'll go into that in a bit. But because of the dark web now and the access that people have to purchasing all sorts of very dark stuff, and especially with the dark arts, because of that dark web, it's given a lot more exposure to these things, and it's becoming more popular to use. So I have had to put it in because I know it was beneficial. So now let's move on to the dark arts.